Welcome back. In the previous video, we added to our animation blueprint a simple state machine that allows us to go from idle to running and back with jog start and jog stop in between. But we've noticed that our jog start and jog stop are sort of slow to get started. So we need to fix that. First, I'm going to take our floor level here and scale it up by about 10 by going to our scale, and for the X, we're going to set this to 10, and for the Y, we're going to set this also to 10. And that way we have a big floor to run on. Next, in the game character folder, we're going to right-click to create a new folder called animations. Here we're going to keep animations that we add or tamper with. We're going to trim some of the animations for Bellica. So let's find the animations folder in our Paragon Lieutenant Bellica folder. Go to the Paragon Lieutenant Bellica, Characters, Heroes, Bellica, Animations. Click on the Animations folder and we can see all these animations that came with Bellica. Now let's find jog forward start by searching for jog underscore FWD, and here's jog forward start right here. Now here in the content browser, click the drop down next to character so we can see our animations folder. Now in the Bellica animations folder, take jog forward start and drag it over to our animations folder that we have in game/character. Release and select copy here. Now we'll have a copy of this animation in our animations folder. Do the same for jog forward stop. We have it right here. Copy here. Now in our animations folder, I'm going to clear the filters search bar and I'm going to rename these jog forward start underscore trimmed and jog forward stop underscore trimmed, because we're going to trim these animations. Now in the animation blueprint, Shooter Anim BP, we're going to use these trimmed versions. So go into the jog start, and instead of jog forward start, let's search in the asset browser for trimmed, and we'll see jog forward start trimmed. Let's use that one instead. Plug that in and delete the play jog forward start node. Now back in ground locomotion, we'll open jog stop, and let's use jog forward stop trimmed instead of jog forward stop. There we go. Now for trimming these animations. Let's double click on jog forward start trimmed. Now first of all, this animation is way too long. We really only need our animation to go a step or two. And we can click up here at the top and scrub through the animation to get to a certain frame. Now, there's a few frames at the beginning before she even starts running, and even those can be trimmed off. So let's scrub forward until she moves and takes about a step, almost two, and let's right-click right here, and we have the option under sequence editing to remove from frame 38 to frame 104. Because we're on frame 37. You can see right here it says 37. That's 1.24 seconds in, or 35.98% through the animation. So we can right-click and remove frame 38 to frame 104. This is why it was important that we created a copy of this animation, because if we're going to be tampering with it, we want to make sure we still have the original just in case we screw this one up. So let's click remove from frame 38 to frame 104. And now if we press play, you'll see that the animation is much shorter. Go ahead and save this, and let's give this a play test. Click play and start running. Now you'll see that we still get some sliding at the beginning. As soon as we start running, it takes her a while to get started. So let's go ahead and trim some off of the beginning as well. So scrub through up to the point where she's just about to start running. I'd say about here, frame 13 or 14. Right click and we can remove frame 0 to frame 14. Now it's a very short animation. Let's go back to the default map, press play, and start running. That looks a little bit better. Now, we can see when she transitions from jog start to jog forward, her feet do a little bit of a skip there. And it looks like we might have trimmed either too much or too little. So back here in the animation editor, it looks like we take one step and then part of another step, but we might want to take that full extra step. So I'm going to hit Control Z to undo the trimming that we did. I'll do that a couple times, so we'll go back to just about the entire animation. So I'm going to scrub through the animation, and I'm going to watch her take the first step and the second step, and I'll trim it just a little ways after that second step. I'm on frame 45. Let's right click and remove 47 to 104 and go back and see the transition here. Okay, so even though there's a bit at the beginning we need to trim off, it looks like transitioning from jog start to run is a little bit smoother. So we still need to trim a little bit off of the beginning here. I would say all the way up to the point where she just picks up her foot. So I'd say just about maybe frame 15. So I'm going to remove frames 0 to frame 15, and now our jog start animation looks like this. Okay, let's give this a test. That looks a lot better. Now jog stop still looks a little awful, but jog start looks a lot more natural. So now we can trim jog stop. Let's go to jog forward stop trimmed and scrub through to see the animation. Okay, so it looks like we're taking way too many steps. We only need a couple steps before we stop. I would say we could scrub backwards from the point where she stopped running and take about 1 and 2 full steps. So I'll stop it about right here, removing frames 0 to frame 14. And let's scrub through to the stop. And about right there, I'd say, is probably pretty good. We don't need the rest of the animation. So let's right click, and I'm going to remove frames 51 to 87. So now our jog stop is a lot shorter. Let's see how that looks. And I'll stop running. I still think we're taking too many steps at the end there. I'm going to go ahead and trim off almost all of those steps. Let's leave just about the last step. So I'm going to come back to the beginning of that last step right there and trim off those frames. And let's give this a try. Okay, I think that looks better. We're not really implementing any sort of slowdown, so we don't want her to take too many steps when we stop. We just want it to look like she's stopping. We don't want too many steps. So this is something you're going to tweak on your own, and it could take several iterations to get right. Again, this is why we made a copy and called it _trimmed, so that we don't screw up the original animation. If you did get this into a state that you are not happy with, you can always delete it and go back and find the Bellica animation, copy that back into the folder, and start tweaking it again. Okay, so we've trimmed the jog forward start and the jog forward stop. We created copies so we didn't trim the originals, and we tweaked those until they looked good for our game so that it looks a little more natural when she starts running and when she stops running. This will conclude our video. In the next video, we're going to take care of this problem. Notice if we move side to side, she's still running forward. So we'll take care of that and continue developing our shooter game. See you in the next video.